right, so we are not in Atlanta anymore. We are in North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte, and we're here for a really, really special reason. I took my gearbox off and my spring is broken. So on the Facebook group, I looked into it, and there's a guy named Pete Sink. And Pete has all things Indian. In fact, Dennis says Pete has done the best restoration of any Indian he's ever seen. I can't wait to talk to Pete. I brought some parts to share with him to get his thoughts on. Got one hand to do this, but we'll make it work. I got all kinds of parts to show him, and just excited because it's so hard to find like old 1949 Indian people. Like who knows this stuff, right? Hey Pete, it's PW.
Hey, come in.
How you doing, buddy?
Come in, see us here.
I brought some parts to show you. I brought some batteries to show you. I got all kinds of broken stuff.
Look like Indian parts to me.
That's right, that's right. Thanks for having me over. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sit your bag.
Right there?
Anywhere.
All right.
Put it right here in front of the
How about that?
toolbox.
Pete, you got all these motorcycles already. I just walked in the door and I'm seeing, holy mackerel. Wow.
It's a 49 Scout.
Okay, so it's like my bike.
Yes, it's like your bike.
Yeah, this is a beautiful bike.
Trying to tune a AMOL 275 carburetor when AMOL is in England today is not reproducing parts for the 275. It's lacking of proper parts to be able to get the richness and leanness of the carburetor correct.
It's really
This is the AMOL 275 carburetor that we're talking about right here.
I see it, yeah. Okay.
Now we've had it running. It will run,
Okay.
but it's not running to our satisfaction right now.
I love your lift too.
Oh yeah.
You got all the toys.
Well, here's all the factory tools
Okay.
for the verticals.
Wow.
There's one in a box that, let me step in front of you over there,
Sure.
that you can't see because where Indian put the parts number here, they couldn't put the parts number. They had to stamp it on a box.
Okay.
I call it a piston ringer.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It grabs a ring and spreads the ring apart and
What a good deal. That's pretty
whatever.
cool.
But this is the genuine. Every tool, I mean, this is common, but that was in there.
Right.
This is sort of common, but there were 3 sizes of snap ring pliers. You ever seen that?
No,
That's
but
your sump plug ring.
I was going to say, the only nut on motorcycle I know that's big is the sump pump plug, right? That's
you
right.
got it.
I was at a Barber motorcycle
Museum.
museum, and I met a guy named Dennis
Yeah.
Bridget. And Dennis says, the only guy who ever restored Indian, did the best job he ever knew, was Pete Sink. And I said, okay, Dennis. And then Dennis went on to sell me a fender for my Indian because my fender was wrong. So now I have a proper fender that's being painted and I'm going to mount it. But yeah, this is a great bike. I'm sure you guys are going to be successful in getting it back on the road.
Homemade tool.
Oh, okay.
Now, you know what this is for?
No.
Okay. The bottom of this fork leg has an O-ring right down there in the bottom.
Let me see.
Right here.
Okay.
All right. You got to go down in and get this under that O-ring to pull the O-ring and get it up out of the fork leg.
Oh, for the leg.
It's
okay.
the O-ring removal. Indian didn't make it.
Gotcha.
I don't know how you would have ever removed it
No.
if you didn't have something similar to this at your house.
My house is not like your house. I don't have all the Indian toys.
Well,
So, Pete, one of my biggest problems with my bike is my clutch. I cannot pull this lever to save my life. Yeah, that's a lot better.
all right, come in here. Here's another one in here.
You got more bikes.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
pull this one right here.
There's more motorcycles. This one.
Pull this one.
Okay, left hand, right?
Yeah, left hand. Oh, this one over here. Pull that clutch. That's not a foot shift bike.
Right.
That's a hand.
Oh, this is nice.
You see that?
That's like
That clutch
butter.
does not slip.
Wow.
I pulled this one.
Wow. Okay. We're gonna have to talk about these bikes, Pete. It's. Oh yeah, this is really nice.
You see that?
Yeah.
You see the size of that? The diameter versus
Yeah.
the diameter. This is original.
Okay. Yeah. Look at that. It's almost 20% bigger. You think?
Twice the size.
Twice the size. Let me pull this one too. I'm just pulling clutches all day. Oh yeah, so much better. I can only ride for about 15 minutes, Pete, and then my hand gets so tired.
Well,
But I think
the clutch pack thickness is the secret on a vertical. The pack needs to measure 1.1 or something close to 1.1 inches thick.
got it. What is this beautiful black Warrior? Where'd you get
It's
this
an
guy?
original paint bike. This is
Wow.
not something that's repainted or let's call it restored.
Yeah, it's a survivor.
Now, it's been going through with the magnet and cleaning carburetors and cables and added the saddlebags that I found at Davenport, Iowa.
Yeah. How long have you had this one for?
2.5 years.
Okay.
It came from the estate sale. A friend of mine passed away in Ohio, and I bought this bike at an estate sale. It's a 1950
Beautiful
Warrior.
bike.
Major difference, the wiring harness came out in 1950.
I see.
This is 1949.
Oh, I see.
You can't see it like a light,
No,
but it's
on camera I can see it.
individual wires. They didn't have a wiring harness overbraided,
Okay.
but they did in 50.
And this is a
49
Arrow. How long have you had this one for?
5-6 years,
It's
something
a beautiful,
like that.
It's a beautiful bike. How did you?
It's an original paint too.
Original paint, Survivor again.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a Survivor.
Wow. And when you got it, it was like this when you got it. So someone took really.
Not exactly.
No.
Not exactly. Some of the parts that were deteriorated a little bit, maybe rusty and or pitted, have been changed. Something like a brake pedal. See,
Okay.
that's got cadmium plating on
I
it.
see that now. Yeah.
The Era, when it came out, it did not have polished aluminum cases
Okay.
like the Scout or the Warrior did.
Okay. And this is Wally's bike.
That's Wally's bike.
It's and it has the two-seater in the back. The chum.
Yeah, that's
seat.
a chummy seat.
Look at that. That's special. I like that you have one of every color, Pete. You have a full collection.
Well,
ride the rainbow with Pete
There are
Sink.
two more colors that Indian had. They had a green and a yellow.
Oh, and I have the yellow one.
They had the seafoam blue, black, red, yellow, and it was a dark green, almost like a John Deere gray.
I see. And what about that beautiful bike? What's the story
That's
behind
a
that one?
1930 inline 4-cylinder.
Wow. Where'd you get this bike from?
Bike came from the antique meet at Oley, Pennsylvania, probably 25 years ago now.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't what you see there. The engine was totally apart on it. Fenders were mashed up and mangled. No gas tank. No magneto carburetors, generators, and things like that. It was an ordeal to put that together.
I mean, it must have taken just finding the parts by itself.
It took a couple years of scavenging parts from different people to get that bike put together.
Wow. This is just beautiful. Look at this motor. Oh my gosh. Wow. Pete, you did a great job.
Thanks.
Outstanding. I was trying to remember online. I read that you worked at a dealership as a young man.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was 15, 16 years old and worked at the Indian shop in Roanoke, Virginia.
Shall I throw some questions at you?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we could go back and look at the other bike,
Sure.
It helps me to understand it better. Keep in mind, Pete, I've only been at this for about 2 months. This
I got
hobby.
you.
So I couldn't be more green. if I tried.
Okay.
The person who worked on my bike before me, right,
Yep.
put a different seat bracket, and I have a really comfortable seat.
Okay.
It's terribly comfortable, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave it.
Sure.
But what they did was they took the
Voltage regulator.
and they moved it here.
Yeah.
And you know, so this doesn't have any holes in it. It's all been sealed up and
Yep.
everything. And I quite like it. Do you think there's any negatives to that? Should I leave it there? Do I have to move it?
Let me say this about something different. Finding parts is getting more difficult every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting to the point that in lieu of being able to do a perfect restoration,
Right.
just like it left the factory, it's cost prohibitive to try to do that today.
Yeah.
If you can get it to your liking and it functions and rides well, so what?
Yeah. Enjoy it, right?
Yeah, enjoy it. For what
Good.
it is, it's an antique. The 99.9% of the people is going to look at it, not going to know that the voltage regulator mounted on this side of the toolbox in lieu of wherever yours may be mounted. So,
Right. Perfect. Okay. So we had a conversation on the phone, you and I, about my kicker, and it was dropping down,
Yeah.
dragging.
Yeah.
And I was really concerned about it. And you told me that I had to take this apart
Right.
in order to see the spring
Right.
and or the post could be broken.
Right.
So
I figured that the post was broke out of the center section that the center stand spring attaches to.
right.
And
So here's the thing, though. Before we even talk about the spring, getting this apart for me was a bit of an ordeal.
Yeah.
Because this bolt right here, this one,
yeah,
had go on my bike goes all the way through, and they put a nut on the back.
yeah.
Is that how this is right now?
No, that was a factory upgrade.
Oh, so it's not.
That came out in 1950, but they said to upgrade that, it's a tab on the engine anchor plate. I have a picture of it on my computer.
I'm going to show you something. Really excited to show you. I brought it with me. Don't peek. Don't ruin the surprise. Here we go. I'll put this in your hand.
All right.
And what you have here is a genuine Indian original article, broken by myself.
It's a kicker spring and it's broken.
So,
I've never seen one broken in 40 years. I've seen this twisted out of them,
okay.
or this, but the stud that this attaches to in the transmission is what is broken 99% of the time that the kicker is down and won't stay up.
I'm the 1%er.
You're the 1%er. That's the first one I've seen that's broken.
Always something. So when I opened it up, I thought the post is going to be broken. I got to get a MIG welder or get a new
Yeah.
box. And luckily, I have a very affordable fix now versus a longer ordeal.
You do.
So I'm lucky about this one.
You got it.
When the bike was delivered to me, I didn't even know how to drive a motorcycle. I didn't have a license. And in the time that I've been learning, I broke it.
Yeah, I hear you.
I must have jumped on it one time because when he started it for me in the video, it goes back up.
Yeah.
So it was definitely my user error. I
Hey.
take responsibility. But Pete, I did it right.
You did.
I didn't break the wrong thing.
You got it.
Okay, so I brought something else to show you. This is an original kicker.
That is an original kicker. It's beautiful.
So my issue though is there's
It takes a ball and a spring in here. There's a recess here for the spring, and the ball goes in there. I think I have one in the garage. I think I do.
because yours comes
Now,
up.
it does not take a hex nut like this. It takes an Allen head, so it'll go down in this recess.
We're gonna get this Pete sorted. One of my favorite sayings of yours, Pete, is
No problem a little money won't take care of.
That's right. I like showing Pete problems because he's like, oh, I can fix that. I'm gonna get this on my vise right now. I looked at that and I thought, oh no, this is the wrong thing. And trying to start it at that angle was just a nightmare. Even your clock is Indian time.
I didn't reset it.
Indian motorcycle
Pull
clock.
that little chain back there on the back side of
Okay,
that.
I'll do it. Oh yeah, excellent.
That the spring is there,
Oh,
and all you need is a ball.
Well,
See the spring right there?
You know my history with springs, right, Pete? I told you, I break springs for...
See that?
Okay, yeah. So over the years, you've taken apart so many motorcycles, put them back together again. You just know all these bolts pretty much.
Yeah. I may not have what I need to fix this. It's a special head.
I see
You
that.
see the head on that?
Yeah. And I
Now,
told him...
Here's the problem.
I'm listening.
That head won't go down in there.
Right. You're right, it won't go in there.
Hang on, we'll be all right. That'll go.
Wow. Amazing,
What I
amazing.
tell people, if you don't know where it's at, you might as well not have it. Because if I couldn't have found that, we couldn't have put it on your motorcycle.
There you go. Thank you, Pete.
You see this? This ain't a hex head.
No, it's not.
This is supposed to be a same thing. If you're not aware, Ed Glasgow sells a kit.
Okay.
Now I'm going to show you what here is what you're missing out on. This is a tall head. It's not a thin head
Okay.
like the modern bolts. A tall head.
I see.
You get the entire kit of the chassis. All these bolts, this bolt, the front engine anchor plate bolts, fender braces. Ed Glasgow has this.
Okay. Where's Ed Flasco out of?
Tully, 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 New York.
Pete, do you want to take an Indian to New York with me and go visit, pick up some bolts?
Yeah. Now, I'm working through your
Kicker.
incorrect nuts and bolts here.
Okay.
Your kicker and shifter takes socket head screws. You want to take these two bolts back home with you too. Now, you can finish that when you get home.
Yeah.
I don't need that. I got a
You have a whole honey bear? Or is that,
that's
is
a
it?
honey bear full.
So two things with this carburetor.
Now this carburetor right here, if you look, the float bowl is larger than it should be. You see the diameter of that float bowl?
Oh man, yeah, it's tiny. Let me see if I can
Okay.
get around there.
You see the diameter of that float bowl? How much room do you have between the back of the oil tank and your float bowl?
With this,
You see what I'm saying? It may not work.
so with this carburetor, it's on backwards.
Hey, that's easy.
Fit.
What I'm saying is, even if I change position of the float bowl on the body,
It won't fit.
it may. You will have to screw with it with everything loose and adjust on it, hoping that you can get there.
It's sweating gasoline or fuel from various points, like down here.
Well, it takes gaskets there.
Exactly.
But now let me show you what kind of gaskets it takes. See that red washer?
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay.
Now you put anything else other than that on here, and you go to tighten it on it, you're gonna crush it or get it out of shape. You won't crush that fiber washer, and it will seal it up. Okay.
That's the problem. It's the wrong.
Now see, I don't see any in here.
Yeah, it sweats from all
Take
the.
my word for it. It's like this. If you don't put a gasket on it, a surface is going to leak. Now, would you like me to try to fix this?
Can we do it?
If you got enough money in you, you probably can get it fixed here.
Okay.
I want to see what you got in there. That's incorrect.
That's not the right one.
No, this is delicate. You cannot squeeze that body.
Okay.
This is very, very delicate. You cannot squeeze that body.
Pete has all the good toys.
Look,
Oh my gosh.
look,
We're in the money now.
look.
Nice.
Well, that'll cost you money.
Oh man.
That's not what I'd have put in there. Now we got to get the big money box in here now.
Oh no, Pete, you're killing
Gotta
me.
go back to my garage.
Oh, and every time he goes back to the garage, it costs me more money.
Back to the garage, it costs more money.
Gosh.
I'll bring a box in here.
Oh no. I'm a little afraid, Pete.
You know what you tell your wife, honey? You ain't got no problem. Little money won't take care of it.
That's right.
Now, if you're not familiar with Berlin in England,
I'm not.
you need to get to know Berlin in England when you're fooling with this.
Okay.
It's like Berlin, Germany.
Oh, Berlin.
It's almost, but they pronounce it Berlin.
Berlin. Okay.
I have never seen anything like that.
So this is two new ones. One's a broken spring, and two is an oversized
Now,
float bowl.
I'm talking about this
Oh.
right here. Let's see what I got here.
So then this is not correct for this motorcycle. What is this off of, do you think?
276.
Okay.
Go in and look the Warrior.
Okay.
The Warrior took a bigger carburetor.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The bigger bodied 276 takes the bigger float boat. I can't tell you the number of it, but Amal has got a number for that float boat.
I see it.
See? And the 275 takes the smaller body. Here. Here.
Okay. Right. I see.
Now, you compare this with what we took off of yours.
Let's take a look. Oh man. Yeah.
Now, I say you might fornicate with it for 2 days to get this bowl to clear back there.
Right. And that's why they put it on backwards.
Yeah.
Because they can't fit it in there.
Yeah. Now, this should be that one.
Okay.
You see the difference of what was in there?
Yeah, let's see.
In this one, this is the size and the washer that should have gone on that right there. Now, you wasn't aware of Berlin.
No.
Now, if you go in there and Google Amel carburetors for motorcycles, it might bring Berlin up.
Okay.
Berlin is the company now that is making and selling what spares that they have for the 276. They ain't making nothing hardly for this 275.
Hmm.
Now, I'm going to share this with you. You might have to tweak this more after you get it on the bike.
Okay.
I told you we're dealing with very fragile stuff, and I trying my best not to break anything of yours. What I say,
I do.
It's more important to try to do it for friendship. So you can put that on the clock at home and say, Pete said that one was wrong.
I will.
We got a decent one there. You got the top for this with you?
I didn't bring it with me. No, it's still connected to the bike with
Okay.
the two lines.
Now
down.
there is something important there. That's the reason I asked for it. There are 5 different slides. Not 1, 5. You know how to identify the 5? Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to identify the 5. Now this is a 276 box,
Okay.
but it works the same. You see that 6/3.5?
Yes.
A 275 takes a 5. A 6 goes in a 276.
Okay.
5/3 is what should be in your carburetor.
Okay.
Now, that's what it left the factory with. If I could get a complete set of 275 slides, I then maybe could fix some of these problems. Now, just to show you,
So small.
what does that say right there? 5/3. I said yours supposed to have was 5/3 in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that number change is every time they slice a 1/16 of an inch off of this, if you slice another 1/16 off, it'll go to 5/4.
I see.
Take a 1/16 off of that slice, it goes to 5/2.
Okay.
But that's a 1/16 of an inch slice in this. This bevel end always goes to the inlet side. The needle in that slide must go into the needle jet in here. You can't just stab it in there anywhere. See?
Yeah.
All right, now look, it's got a perfect line up, which slides down in right there.
Mm-hmm. It's very precise.
Yes. And the more wear and tear and slop that this gets on it, the worse it's going to run. When you get it, it's going to fall down in there. And you need a spring.
Yeah, there's a long
See
spring
that
on
spring right there?
Mm-hmm. Got it.
It's important what you have. The bigger that opening is, the leaner it's going to be. That opening has to be closed down when it gets wear in there. Instead of it being a 3, you may need a 2. Because if I'm sucking air around the slide inside of that body, I need to cut down on the amount of air that's going in because of the wear in the slide. And the only way to do that is to take a number 3 out and put a number 2 in it. There's new. See, you cover up your slide adjustment.
I see.
That's your idle adjustment right here. That screw will raise and lower your slide to control your idle speed. Now, you covering it up when you slide this float bolt, you're going to have to put it on to where you can get to this screw, loosen the jam nut, and with it running, you should do this. Now, you ought to be able to take that screw and run it in until it staggers and then back it out about a turn.
Okay. Because it's on backwards, you can't adjust anything anymore. They're blocking themselves.
Yeah, you're blocking yourself.
Would it be in my best interest to find the proper carburetor for this bike? Or if it runs...
This is the proper carburetor for this bike.
But the bowl is the wrong size.
Bowl's the wrong size.
So I should find the right bowl.
That's difficult. You know where that bowl came from?
1949 Indian?
Australia.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, when I say it's difficult,
Yeah.
do you have any contacts in Australia
I don't.
that you can go to and say, now, Emil has a number for this bowl, and I don't know what it is, but we could find out what the number for that bowl is. Every British motorcycle known to man had an Emil carburetor on it. They used a 275 on multiple motorcycles that came out of England. By putting it on multiple bikes, you might find that body and that float bowl in India. All the British colonies were selling British motorcycles.
Right, okay.
Triumph, BSA, Norton, AJS, Masterclass was shipped around the world. Now, all I'm trying to explain is where you can locate the stuff. Now, that's where you might find it.
Okay.
But now, this is incorrect.
Okay. Oh, I see. It's supposed to look like this.
Look. Now, what it should have on it there is something like this going on here with the special
Right.
nut to hold that gas line that's feeding the float bowl. That's a slip-on gas line fitting, but it ain't supposed to be a dual.
Yeah, I see that's it.
Now, something like that right there is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
How does it work? It goes on there with 2 gaskets. One gasket here, one gasket here. And then you got the nut to hold that on there.
Right.
A rubber gas line with a banjo fitting. The banjo fitting being this piece right here, I'm calling the banjo.
Right.
Went on there just like that.
Yep. Gasket,
Nut. And it's special nut to hold it on there.
I understand.
That's the way it works. You see that eat up looking bolt right there?
Yes.
Probably the best I got. That's what screws on the bottom of that. And your banjo fitting goes in between it with 2 red washers. You see that right there?
Yes.
But look at this. I don't have any.
Right.
It's at my house. It's unavailable.
Uh-oh.
Here it comes.
Hey there. How you doing? I know this guy.
How's it going?
VW, nice to see you. Good to see you. We're playing with carburetors over here.
Wally, I don't have a decent one of these. You need a banjo fitting like I showed you over there.
Right.
A BSA Triumph dealership, somebody that's fooling with old bikes in Atlanta should have that nut.
Oh man, so this has been quite a morning. I gotta jump back in the car real quick and get a microphone for Mr. Wally. Pete has been such a wealth of information. I was just thinking we'd show him some parts and things, and next thing you know, we're on the bench pulling apart kickers and carburetors. It's been great, really, really great. I'm gonna get back in there, Mike, Wally, pull the rest of it together for next week. This week, you guys have a great week. Take care, and hopefully see you on the next one. If you liked all of this content, subscribe for me, trying to get those numbers up a little bit. Super helpful and really appreciate it. All right, guys, have a great week. I'm gonna find this microphone, get Wally mic'd up, and thanks again. I'll see you next week.